Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and pause intermittently here and there to talk about things that are going on to better explain what's going on and talk about things that I think that are being done right and or done wrong. Without further ado, here we go.
This briefing will provide information you will that
skip.
Majors you are about person into. They may also be biased, especially for young children and sensitive viewers.
All right. So I don't know much about New York, where all this is at or anything, but man, that is a just... I've been to New York, and I just don't understand how anybody would want to live here. I mean, that's just too many damn people. And out of all this concrete and asphalt and steel, like one little patch of green over here, like that's, for me personally, that's not me. I don't know how people live like this. All right, so this right here, it's described as a machete style knife. I wouldn't necessarily consider this to be a machete style of a knife. I would just call it a larger knife, like a... Calling it a machete is no. I don't see it. Me personally, I don't see it as a machete. Now, I'm not a knife person. I'm not a knife connoisseur. And I could be wrong, but a machete to me is like something that's over 2 to 3 foot long, like something that you can swing like a little bat in a way. Like this, it's barely over a foot long. It's not a machete in my eyes, but it's still a big ass knife, and one that will be extremely deadly and will for sure fucking kill you.
New York City 911, do you need police, fire, or medical?
I need police.
What's the address?
Yeah,
Is this an apartment or private house?
it's an apartment.
What's the apartment number, what floor? What's the police emergency?
My he's getting aggressive with me. He's threatening me, accusing me of things. I'm asking him to leave my home.
Okay.
I'm asking him. Yeah, after you fucking poke me with a blanket, right? I asked him to leave my home, and he's refusing to leave my home.
What two streets are you cross street?
Broadway and 31st Avenue.
Okay, what's his first name and last name?
His first name is last name. How is that relevant?
It's real fucking relevant. Like that right there, already is piquing my interest. It's making the hair stand up. It's making the bullshit meter start to move and peg. Like, why the fuck are you opposing this? Like, what is so wrong with mentioning his name? What's like, what, and why do you think that that's not relevant? There could be multiple people in this household. They want to be sure to get the right person. They don't want to arrest the wrong person. So, this right here already tells me that this is going to be one of those stupid fucking calls. And obviously it is, or else I wouldn't be doing a video on it. But that right there just stands out to me that that the person who's calling in, they themselves are a stupid person.
What's his first name?
Let's get it. His first name is Eddie. Let's get it. Send the ambulance. Send the ambulance too, because he just popped mad damage.
Okay, and what's his last name?
His name is Eduardo Andrade.
Male, black, white,
Astronaut.
male, black, white, Hispanic, or Asian?
Latino.
What's his date of birth? Does he have a weapon?
I don't know, but probably.
What kind of weapon do you think he has?
Excuse me, that's my father.
Oh yeah, they're coming to get me.
That's my father.
And they're coming to get
That's my father. That's my father. That's my father.
Come, right?
Yo, he's mentally unstable. Like, you really have someone come here to...
They're already coming. It's just a procedure. We have to ask these questions, okay? They're already responding. And you said, what kind of weapons does he have?
He has my father's old fucking machete.
He has it in his hands now?
Yeah, he has it. Yeah, my father got from Puerto Rico, and he has it, and he's trying to get it. So like he's ready to die. He's ready to die. He's mentally unstable. He's been popping Xanax for 3 days in a fucking row.
All right, help is already on the way. But you said you need an ambulance for him, correct?
It's probably, yeah. There's something mentally wrong with him. He hasn't hurt me, nothing. He needs an ambulance. He's probably gonna overdose in 2 seconds.
Oh, he was taking something?
Xanax, yeah, he's taking Xanax. Left and right. He's popping them like Tic Tac.
Okay, hold on.
There he goes again. Sure, our cameras pick this moment. I've been asking you to leave since yesterday. You hear?
Fucked up today. That's all I did for you.
What for me? Sitting at my house, laying in my bed all day and fucking pop drugs? And I'm asking you to leave for days in a row?
I'm going to connect you to the ambulance right now, okay? Because the EMS has to come as well. Okay, hold on. Do not hang up. Where did he put the machete? Did he put it down?
In my ass.
I don't know where he put it. I think he put it in his jacket.
It's in my ass.
Tell her. Play that one more time.
It's in my
ass. So after looking at this dude, looking him up, I wouldn't be surprised if he does put things up his butt.
Hold on.
Go do this shit at your mother's house. Don't come do. I don't care. Die because of me. No, you're gonna die because of you. Because you're a drug addict. You're a drug addict.
All right, so the people involved in this. So we already know the guy with the knife, Eduardo. The 911 caller is his baby mama, Brianna Cortez, and the older woman that they call the civilian is the mother of Brianna. And there's also a 3-year-old boy inside the apartment, which is this guy's son and the 911 caller's son. The injuries that he got, so he was shot in the groin, but it does not give any details about the extent of his groin injuries. Hopefully, they blew his fucking nuts off and he can't reproduce anymore. That's best case scenario. Because someone like him doesn't need to be reproducing. Unfortunately, there stands a possibility that his son is going to end up like him. It happens. Piece of shit people end up raising kids to become piece of shit people. There are cities and towns all across this nation, all across this world, where that statement stands true. There are generational shitheads that exist. Dudes whose dads have been arrested, and their dad's been arrested, and their dad's been arrested time after time after time, and they've been fucking shitheads for generations. It's just the truth of the matter. Now, does that mean 100% this kid's going to end up like this dude? No, it doesn't. He's got a chance of not ending up like his father. But if this father's going to remain in his life to some extent, and based off, some of the bullshit the mom's doing and saying, I don't think the kid's probably got the greatest chance in the world at being anything great. But you never know. There's always those little success stories out there. But that's the key word, little. There's just not enough of it to be overwhelming. That's why we have sections of town that people know not to fucking go to. The police say that there is an extensive past of domestic incidents between this guy and Brianna. Multiple domestic violence orders of protection, and some of those that were violated. He has had prior incidents of resisting arrest and fighting the police. So this is not like a one-time interaction for this guy with police. Like this is not his one time only being involved with the system. Like he's been involved before. And he's just one of those people that's it's a piece of shit. I mean, that's all there is to say about it. This dude's a fucking piece of shit. Now, the girlfriend has gone on record with media, looking at an article at ABC7 New York. Let me scroll down to it where it was. She made a stupid comment. She said, "This is why you don't call the NYPD for help. They will shoot you and then blame your family." Well, if you're complaining about calling the NYPD, then why the fuck did you call them to begin with? Have not found any other articles on this incident, so I don't know what the outcome of this is. And it's still kind of fresh. I mean, this happened in April of 2022. At time of recording, it is August 18th, 2022. So there's still it's still fresh. All right, so let's move forward. So attempted assault first, attempted aggravated assault upon a police officer, menacing a police officer, and criminal possession of a weapon fourth. So I don't know what New York statutes are. I don't know what their laws are. Each state has different laws when it comes to assault. Some places may call something like this aggravated assault, or they may call it an attempted murder or something like that. In Kentucky, when someone tries to kill another person and doesn't succeed, they are charged with assault first. So we don't necessarily have an attempted murder charge, so to speak, that is used. There are the NCHO charges, the attempts of things, but you don't see those being utilized in arrest citations or booking stuff. It's always the assault first, because assault first is like the most serious of it all. It's like you damn near killed someone kind of thing. And I don't know if that's the same with New York with this attempted assault first, but it could be. I don't know. Like I said, each state's a little bit different. Some states, the way their laws are set up makes sense. Other states, not so much. I wish that there could be more of a standardization when it comes to certain crimes. For example, assaults. It would be nice if there was a standardization on assault laws in this nation. So no matter what state you go to, assault in Kentucky is assault 1 in Kentucky is going to be the same as assault 1 in Texas, or whatever the terminology you want, the definitions that meet that would be kind of nice. So when I talk about definitions of things and whatnot, I'm talking from Kentucky standpoint, because I know Kentucky law better, obviously. I don't know very well about other states. Most of them kind of mimic each other and are very similar to each other, but some have some very stark differences. Some countries, some states have duty to retreat type of laws, and so if you're being attacked, someone's coming at you, you're expected to run away. Obviously, not every state is like that, and that should not be the case at all. Those type of laws should not exist. But some states, that shit does not exist at all. And someone comes at you with a weapon, you damn right, you are well within your right to protect yourself and utilize deadly physical force. And stuff like that, I think, should also be standardized. I don't think it's fair for people who live in those states who are being told that they need to run away before attempting to defend themselves. Anyway, getting into a rant, but moving on. Okay, so nothing wrong with the audio. This is pretty typical with body cameras. There's a prevent buffer where no audio is picked up. And I'll find the right moment to freeze frame it. Okay, so a couple things going on within this image right here. Number one, the controls right here. So New York is pretty unique in the fact that they put their siren control box and other stuff right here on the dashboard. I'm not a big fan of that. Pretty much everywhere else in the country, agencies put that stuff in between the seats in the middle console. I think Washington, D.C. does shit like this. I remember doing a video on them, and one of their guys had a car that had a little control thing up on the dashboard. I don't think anywhere else really does stuff like this. And I'd say probably for good reason, because they realize it's fucking stupid. This is an obstruction to me. Like, this limits your vision during the day, just driving. But also at night, this thing glows. It emits light. And it's not super bright or anything, but it's still a distraction. And if you're sitting there with your lights turned off, then you got this fucking thing glowing, and it's glowing in your face, and it's illuminating you. So it can be a disadvantage to you. It can make things unsafe for you. But then also driving, having these fucking glowing things shining in your face, that's not good. You can control your dash lights with the little dimmer switch over here, but you can't really control the dimness of this. It's a constant, steady burning backlight on this. And like I said, it's not super bright, but it's also not very dim either. I think this is not a good place to be putting this. Second thing going on, the portable radio. So this is one of my biggest gripes when it comes to NYPD and also LAPD, because they seem to be the two that do this crap the most. Utilizing portable radios without a lapel mic or shoulder mic, remote mic, whatever you want to call it, the little cord that attaches to that radio and has a little speaker microphone on the end of that. New York, it seems like to me, doesn't have cars that have mobile radios installed in them. I don't think I've ever seen an NYPD video where an officer is using a mobile radio in a car. So that just makes me think they just don't fucking put them in cars. It seems like to me they just all rely on their portable radios. The issue that I have with that is it keeps your hands tied up when you are having to reach down and grab that radio and pull it out of its pouch, undo the snap to be able to get it out, bring it up, talk into it, and then put it back down and secure the snap. Or if you got the swivel mount, turn it upside down and rock it into place. That's a lot of unnecessary movements and a lot of unnecessary things staying in your hand that do not need to be staying in your hand. If something critical happens very quickly, and you've got a radio in your hand, you're going to be forced with two options. One, drop that radio, get it out of your hand, and get your hand in the fight. Or B, try to take the time to put that damn thing back in its pouch. Neither of those are good options. The best option is to have the lapel mic. That way your radio is secured on your belt, and the lapel mic either goes up to your shoulder, up to your shirt somewhere, and you just reach up, click the button, talk into it, let go, and then put your hand back onto whatever you need to put your hand back onto. Now, the only negative thing that anyone ever says about those lapel mics is they can fall off during a confrontation. And they can. They can fall off your shirt, but they're not coming off the radio because they are attached to the radio. Either they're clipped in or they're screwed in. There are products out there that you can get that anchor that lapel mic to your shirt or your shoulder so that during a confrontation it doesn't just fly loose. One of the companies is Mic Loop. And essentially it's just a tab of Velcro that you can slap onto your vest, and that paracord comes up out of the uniform shirt, and then you put your lapel mic through it, and you can still clip your lapel mic to your shirt, but if it gets knocked loose, well, that paracord loop kind of anchors it in place, and it doesn't go, dangling around your knees or your ankle. There's other products out there that you can get, and then you can also do it yourself. You can get some shock cord, cut it to length, and attach it. If you got an outer carrier, you can, depending on the outer carrier you got, you can run it through some MOLLE webbing and have that where you can pass your microphone through it, and it'd be kind of right there, and it gets knocked loose. It's not going anywhere. It's anchored in place. You can get paracord, make something similar to the Mic Loop product, just doing it yourself. or using paracord in the same fashion that you could be using the shot cord. Just run it through the molly loops and, doing a double fisher knot, barrel knot, whatever on it, or doing some other kind of knot to tie it in place. Whatever. There's options out there to be able to remedy the issue of the lapel mic being knocked loose. So I highly encourage people to look into that and start using lapel mics, because lapel mics make things so much easier, and it really is a life safety piece of equipment, in my opinion. It keeps your hands free, so that your hands can be on tools or on a person, and that radio gets to stay secured to your belt versus being out in your hand and then being potentially knocked out of your hand, and then you not be able to do anything with the radio at all because it's 2 feet away from you and you can't reach it. Even if the radio is still attached to your belt and your lapel mic's been knocked loose, you can still reach down to the radio itself and press the oh shit button. You can push the talk button and yell real loud, and the microphone's still going to pick it up. So you've still got options when that radio is attached to you. You don't really have any options when that radio is not in your hands or on you at all. The other issue that this is like a personal kind of thing. It's just this fucking business of taking the antenna and bending it all the way over and rubber banding it in place. That's just a pet peeve of mine. I cannot stand that shit. Motorola makes little short stubby antennas that you can get to replace the long whip antennas. There's no sense in ruining equipment like this. These antennas they're not exactly cheap either. And continuously keeping them bent like this and flexing them like that is going to break this outer sheath that is protecting the antenna. And you start exposing the antenna wires, and those start getting frayed or braid, whatever. Then you're looking into some issues of it not being able to transmit correctly. And when you bend the damn antenna itself over like this, you do limit its transmission power and capabilities. So bending the antenna over is more of a personal pet peeve thing of mine. But the biggest takeaway is not utilizing lapel mics. That's the biggest issue. So I don't know if they've blocked this person in, or if he's just sitting there and he says he's not going to be leaving anytime soon. I don't know. But they leave him there, and they go on. So if this dude was wanting to leave, that's kind of a shitty fucking move to leave your cars parked there and not allow this dude to get out.
What's your response to someone before? Can you tell the address? You said 3-3 though, right?
Yeah.
108 Charlie. 1 second, K. Join the EMS is on scene at this moment, K, but I'll text up the ETA, okay?
Right here. Right here on the side. What's the other one?
That's the for minor injuries. I for you want to go with them all? That's what thank you. That's okay, next 4 hours.
14 responses. She's trying to some gain access.
All right, so this is one of the issues with apartment complexes is there can be a door that locks, and once you go in past that door and that door closes behind you, it locks. And so any other responding units who are there to back you up or fire EMS coming there to help, they're now going to have to wait until someone buzzes that door open for them. They can breach the door in most cases, but that's obviously going to cause issues for the property itself. So what they're doing is taking a rug and they're moving it to put it in the door. That way when that door closes, it doesn't get to shut all the way. The officer whose camera we're watching, he was picking up the trash can with intentions of putting the trash can in the doorway as soon as it opened. Those are good things to do. I think the rugs are a little bit better to utilize because the trash can is something that's more of a top heavy kind of thing and can be kind of knocked out of the way more easily. A rug is something that does not move very easily, and it will stay in place where you put it, and that was the best thing I think to put in a door to keep it open. Now, not every apartment complex will have a rug like that within the doorway or have anything around that you can move to put in that doorway. So if there's no objects within arm's reach or within the immediate vicinity, what are you going to use to keep a door propped open? If you haven't purchased a purpose-built equipment to facilitate this need, then what do you have on you to keep a door propped open? You could maybe use a pair of gloves, put it down in the corner of the door, or push the door all the way open and put them up there where the hinge is at. That way when the door closes, it doesn't close all the way, depending on the construction of the door and the door frame and all that. You could potentially take a patrol light and set it down in the door frame. The problem with that is someone could steal it, and also the gloves. Someone could steal the gloves as well. But the light, aside from it being something that someone can easily pick up and take away, it can roll. It can roll out of the way. So those are last pinch kind of things to be able to use. Not the go-to things I think that should be used, but exigent circumstances kind of things. So there are purpose-built things to be able to get. You can buy door wedges, little rubber door wedges that don't really weigh much of anything. Keep one in a pocket. Get to an apartment complex like this, keep the door propped open, put that door wedge under there, kick it in place, and the door staying open. There are these elastic bands that's like 6-7 inches long, something like that. They got 2 holes on each end, and the idea behind that is loop one end around the door handle of the interior part of the door, wrap it around the front of the door, and that other loop goes on the exterior handle of that door. And that way when the door closes, either A, that rubber material is going to be thick enough to where the door frame and the door are not going to be able to connect very well, or it's not going to allow that door to go flushly into the door frame. Or even if it does close all the way, it's going to be right there in front of the locking mechanism to where it won't lock back in place. So those are a couple of products out there that are made to address issues like this, and they're made out of rubber. They don't really weigh a whole lot. You could also buy something from a hardware store, like a hook or something, and take that, and when you open the door, reach up to where the hinge is at and put that hook on that hinge, and it could be, a pretty good thickness to it, something like a pencil thickness, nothing smaller than a pencil, I think. Get that, put it up there on that door hinge, and as that door closes, that material will be in between the hinges, and it will prevent the door from closing all the way, because it's just a thick enough object that it'll just prevent the door hinges from being able to sandwich together. Excuse me. A carabiner could also be used, something like that. You just take the gate and pop it on top of that hinge, and then that door can close, and that carabiner will stay up there, and it just won't close all the way. So there's options out there to be able to carry something on you to prevent a door from closing, and I think that's the best way to do it versus just trying to rely upon the idea that there might be a rug there, because some places there might not be a rug there. And you want to be able to keep a door like this open for backup to be able to get to you quickly, because you don't want them sitting down there trying to wait for someone to buzz them in, or if they're unable to kick the door in because it's such a sturdy door, that's not going to be a quick way for them to get to you, because now they're going to have to get breaching tools to breach that damn door to get up there to you. So we see this guy going up the stairs. He's already got his taser out. And in true fashion, all the shitheads always seem to be on the third floor or above. Like none of the bullshit happens on the first floor, right? Like you always got to climb some fucking stairs to get to the assholes. So I like how they are approaching this with less lethals out. However, I don't see any lethal weapons out. And I don't know for sure if the dispatcher called it out that the dude was armed with a knife, because we don't get to hear it, but we do get to hear the officers ask the woman before she ever says anything in detail to them, and they ask her about the knife. So it seems to me that they already know about this fact that this dude has a knife. And so that, to me, means that someone should have a deadly physical weapon out in the event this dude comes rushing out this door at them, because you have no idea what the hell goes on with some people's minds, and every call is very dynamic and fluid. Like not any two calls are the same. Like they're all different. Never know what's going to happen, and need to be prepared for that. Now, the best thing that they could have brought is a rifle or a shotgun. But this is New York, and I don't think they put long guns in patrol cars. I think the only people that have the long guns are probably supervisors. And if they don't even have it, then probably the only people who got those are what they call their, I think they call it ESU, Emergency Services Unit. It's like their SWAT team, basically. Deadly force needs to be met with deadly force. Now, if you have multiple people there, that's still true. Deadly force should be out to meet deadly force. And the extra people there can have a less lethal weapon out and attempt to use that before you have to use deadly physical force. And the best thing to be able to utilize is a shotgun or a rifle. Those are better performers. They stop fights faster and harder. Pistols suck. They really do. If you know you're going to something that has the potential to involve a deadly physical encounter, you want a long gun, a shotgun or a rifle. That's going to stop the fight faster. So.
Please.
So he gets his taser out as well.
Man, open the door. Is he in here with you?
Yeah, he's in here.
Alright, can you just step out? Where exactly is he?
He's in my room.
What he has on? He has a knife on him?
He has my father's machete.
He's holding it.
It's in his waistband.
Alright. Sir, what's right there? What's in there? That's two of them.
We ain't having like last
Man,
night. We ain't having like
man,
last
come
night.
on.
I don't gotta come out
Sir,
nowhere.
put your hands up.
Get out my house. Get out my house.
Okay, so this is where it gets gray, I guess you could say. So the woman who called 911 says this is her apartment. It's hers. Now this woman, the old woman, that 911 caller's mother, is saying this is her house. And that she doesn't want them there. The police, I believe, are acting under the belief that this guy has a weapon and has threatened them with it, and it's an exigent circumstance kind of deal. Like this guy's got a weapon, and they need to get in there and deal with it. This is one of these cases where I could see it definitely going to court. And being something that will be battled to some extent, and probably going to be a freaking payout. I think that, a different approach probably could have been taken. I think that for sure, taking the 911 caller and completely removing them from that immediate area would be the best thing to do. Tell them that they need to come down to the car to fill out the report. That's where the report forms are. Get them completely removed. This is a domestic, right? Get the people separated as far as possible. And get her down there. And then the mother, instead of just yelling at her and telling her to come outside, they could have, taken a lighter approach. And telling her, like, hey, we need to get your side of the story. We're getting only one side of the story. We need to know, what you've heard. Tell us what you've seen and heard. So, and that could have coaxed her to coming out. Probably, it may not have, happened that way either. She could have still been defiant and wanting to come out. But they could have at least, been able to talk to her at that doorway, and then get a better idea. As it unfolds, what's going on and what needs to happen. This is one of those cases, one of those situations where it seems like it's a civil matter. So you got the woman who's a 911 caller saying this is her apartment, and then you got the old woman who's saying it's her apartment. Well, whose fucking apartment is it? Well, I don't know. And I don't think they know very concrete at this moment either. So that's a civil matter, in my opinion. If the baby mama has the place under her, and this could also depend, on from state to state as far as the laws go. But if the baby mama has the lease in the apartment, and the guy has been living there and he's established residency as a tenant, basically, well, then that's civil. She's going to have to go through the courts to get him evicted out of that apartment. If this is an apartment where the bedrooms are rented out and the living room stuff is like a common area, then, baby mama could be renting one bedroom out and the mother could be renting one bedroom out. and he could be renting one bedroom out. Well, they sure as shit can't remove him then at that point. That's his own fucking place to live. So that's definitely 100% going to be civil. If it's girlfriend and the mama, or the baby mama and the grandmother are both paying rent there, and the grandmother's like, no, he's my guest. I want him to stay. He is the father of my grandson. Again, that's going to be more of a civil matter because she's a tenant. She's paying to live there, and she can have a say on who she wants as guests being in their house. So this has all the inklings of being a civil matter. Now, like I said earlier, what I think they're doing as far as going in and moving in is they're going in under the idea that this is an exigent circumstance. This dude's armed with a weapon, and he is a fucking threat to these women. So, other than that, I don't think there's any reason to be going into the house. And even then, if they did think this is kind of an exigent circumstance kind of deal where he's armed with a knife, obviously he hasn't, hurt anybody at this point. There's nobody bleeding, nothing. And there's really no concrete proof that he's even made threats to anybody or anything like that. So I think that they could have even stood back and approached this in a different way and thinking like, well, this is going to be probably civil. We don't have enough to go in and grab this guy. I haven't seen him do anything other than him yelling, which, not a law to it's not against the law to be in your own dwelling and be yelling and acting a fucking fool. Well, depending on what you're yelling. So, another thing to do is tell her, like, all right, well, we don't see any injuries. There's nothing. There's no marks on you. There's no marks on her. We don't have any evidence proving that he said things to you. You're going to have to go to the prosecuting attorney's office, give them your stuff, sign affidavits, and then if they sign arrest warrants, cool, we'll come out and grab them. And then go. But the downside of that is if they don't immediately deal with the issue and this dude decides to kill them and take them hostage, well, then the surviving family can come after the police and say that they didn't do their job correctly and they didn't ensure that everyone was safe. So, unfortunately, with this litmus society that we live in and how society is just always wanting to put the blame on the police no matter what, it's really a fucking lose-lose situation for police anymore. And that's really why a lot of people are seeking early retirement out of law enforcement or just fucking getting out of it completely. It's just not, the juice is just not worth the squeeze anymore in some areas for people. It's not so much of, being shot by a deadly offender that is the risk anymore in law enforcement. It's just dealing with the litmus fucking bullshit that 20 years ago never would have been a thing. Anyway, moving on.
Get out of my house. I ain't having. Don't touch me. I'm not coming out the house. He ain't gonna hurt me.
Put your hands up. Put my hands right here, motherfucker.
Eddie,
Man, you gotta come out.
I don't have to leave my house.
Man, come out.
I don't have to.
All right, man, you gotta come out.
Get them out of my house.
The white woman rules.
Get them out of my house.
Come out. I'm not going nowhere. Come on. Man. I'm not going nowhere.
Get out of my house. I will put a lawsuit. I will get a lawsuit. You're not doing it in my house.
Man. They're gonna take
Hey, get off me. Get
So, in the news report, it talks about the suspect grabbing this woman and holding her. You can't really see in the footage very well distinctively what's going on or anything, but she is actively participating in being a problem. She is preventing them from doing what they want to do. And she's being combative with them. And he is obviously benefiting from this and exploiting this by staying behind her. And they say that he's holding her, and I can kind of see that, that he's holding her and putting her in place. So, and that's typical of shitheads like this. Shitheads like this, they're pussy motherfuckers. They will hold people and use them as a body shield to prevent police trying to get to them. There's guys out there who have held their own kid, their own child, to use them as like a body shield in hopes that the police wouldn't do anything to them. Like, how fucked up is that? To take a little child and put them at risk like that. Like, oh, you ain't gonna shoot at me if I'm holding a kid, or you ain't gonna do nothing to me, I'm holding this kid. Like, pussy motherfuckers. So, this dude, he fits the bill like that, in my opinion.
I'm ill! Oh my God!
So, he does have a... I'll back this up. He has a sweater on, so they do end up firing a taser at him, and it's ineffective. So, this thicker sweater can cause clothing disconnect. So, in a scenario like this, I think it would have been totally acceptable to just spray him right there in the face with pepper spray. Yeah, it's going to suck in that enclosed area. They're going to feel some of the effects of it as well, as that particulate matter is floating around in the small hallway right there. But that's the best thing to be able to do. I mean, unless he pulls that knife out and comes at them, then you can't justify intentionally firing probes into a person's head. So when thick clothing like this is being worn, I think pepper spray is a good thing to use. And I think pepper spray overall is something that has kind of lost popularity within the industry, and it's something that is not seen as a go-to thing much of anymore. Everyone wants to go to that taser. Go to taser. OC still has a place, and OC is a pretty damn good tool. I wish people would use it more often. I think it's a pretty good fight stopper. Of course, you know, I haven't sprayed every single person in the world, but I've sprayed a lot of people, and of the people I've sprayed, it made them stop doing what it was they were doing that made me want to spray them in the first place. Like, they lost any fucking interest in doing stupid shit anymore. So I do think that just painting his face with the OC stream would have been the best option there.
Let me go!
Get back! Get back, mother nigga! That's
I am old!
She's an old lady! What are that niggas doing? I'm out!
No!
I'm out!
No! I
No!
got nothing on the
This is
stove!
my right! This is
I
our
got
house!
nothing on the stove!
This is our house!
No, please!
You can't! Please, don't let me stand back! Don't let me stand back! Come on! Why you not that?
I will!
Stand
Let me
back!
get out of here!
It's our house!
No, I can't
It's our house! It's our house!
Eddie, move! Ow! Ow!
So that happens fast. So boom, they kind of clear her out of the way. He takes off running. And then boom, he comes back with that knife in his hand. This officer fires. Boom, here he comes. And this is probably the best freeze frame that I'm going to be able to get. But there's nothing in between them now. And now this dude's coming at him with the knife. I wish they would show more footage after this, but they cut it short for whatever reason. Let's skip through all this unnecessary stuff. Oh, that look was about. All right. So the cell phone thing. At this point, whatever's on that phone is unimportant. You're standing right in front of the door of a place where there's a person reported to be acting erratically, on drugs, and armed with a weapon. What in the fuck is so important on that phone that you gotta have it out? Cell phones have taken over the world. And, you know, like I remember back in the day when the BlackBerry came out, and it caught the nickname Crackberry because the people who had them were on them all the fucking time. They're addicted to them like crack. Well, it's true. Cell phones are like fucking crack. They are addicting as shit, and I fall victim to this as well. There's times, you know, the phones are useful, but there's also times where, like, they're not useful at all. And this is an instance. This is not useful. Like, why do you have this phone out? What is so damn important that you gotta have your phone out? What if this dude fucking slammed this door open and came rushing out? This dude is completely unprepared. I think the phones need to be put away more often. And he has taken up real estate on his belt to keep his phone there. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Your duty belt is for mission critical stuff. I don't necessarily view a cell phone as being something for mission critical. The belt is for your fighting stuff. That's it. Like, you don't need to be dicking around putting a fucking cell phone carrier on there. There's no point in that. You got pant pockets, put it in your pant pocket. If you got an outer vest that has attachments on there to put it on there, then so be it. Put it there. But right there to the front, that's prime, to the front of the belt like that, that's prime real estate to be able to put something. Magazine pouch, taser, something. You're taking up a good chunk of real estate on your fighting belt just to put a stupid fucking cell phone on there.
Please.
Alright, can you just about where exactly is he?
In my room.
What do you have in the black room?
Yes, my father's not shedding.
He's holding it.
It is Alright.
Sir, who's ready?
Who else is there?
No, we ain't had it like that.
Man,
We ain't had it like that. I don't gotta come out, no.
put your hands up.
Get out my house. Get out my house. Get out my house. I ain't having you. I'm not coming out the house. He ain't gonna hurt me.
Put your hands up.
Hey,
Man, you gotta come out.
I don't have to leave my house.
Man, come on.
I
Listen,
don't have to.
all right, man, you gotta come out.
Let's go. Get out my house.
What happened? All I want is this man to leave my home. What happened?
All right, so again, she's saying, I want this man to leave my home. But the other woman up there is screaming that that's her home. Again, this is, to me, this should have been treated as a civil matter. I could understand the officers approaching this from the mindset, you know, this is an exigent circumstance. The dude's armed with a weapon. He's threatening, you know, he's a danger, blah, blah, blah. But I think overall, the best way to approach it is it's civil. It really is.
since yesterday, he fucking Xanaxes.
I also think that this officer had the right idea. Well, actually, she didn't initially have the right idea. The other woman had the right idea to get her to get off that landing up there. But this officer, I think, should have taken her all the way down to the lobby and even out to the sidewalk. Completely remove her from what's going on. Because as you'll see, she becomes a problem herself. So now she's starting to interfere and be an issue, and now that's diverting their attention away from what's going on onto her. So, like I said, the best thing I think to do is completely remove her from what's going on up there. Tell her, like, hey, we got to go down to the car and get the report form out. So they start throwing shit out of that small hallway to make room.
Oh, let go of my mother! Let go of my mother!
So why is she saying let go of my mother? Why couldn't she be saying, hey mom, cooperate. Hey mom, come out here. She's not doing that. So going all the way back to the 911 call when the 911 caller asked her what the name of the suspect was, and then she's like, why is that relevant? And now this. This woman's got a fucked up mindset, in my opinion.
They're gonna make sure that move this shit back because they're gonna.
So you guys go into a disagreement?
Really would like to see the end of that one too. So they appear to be running, I guess, code to this. So he approaches intersections and he's, hitting the buttons and stuff. And again, same thing with the radio over here that I talked about earlier. Now this is what I'm talking about with the stubby antenna. So you can get antennas that are short, and they're not the long ones that go up this high or whatever. And they're more comfortable. They don't dig into your side or whatever. That's if you don't like the long antennas, this is what you need to get. You get a little stubby antenna instead of bending that damn thing all the way over. So I can't tell just from the color of the pixelated stuff what he could be on. It doesn't look like Facebook or Twitter, so I don't know what he's on. Even if it is a police-related thing that he's on, like some type of app for CAD, computer assisted dispatching. Even then, there's no sense in him being on this damn thing when he's standing right in front of the damn door to an apartment where the guy reportedly armed with a weapon.
Please. Is he in here with you?
Yeah, he's in here.
Alright, can you just step up? Where exactly is he?
He's in my room.
What do you have in me? My room?
Yes, my father's on shutting.
He's holding it.
Let's check the floor back in regards to ADP. No answer.
Sir, that's right there. Pull up to there.
Oh, just
Ma'am.
He ain't having none of that. I don't gotta come out nowhere. Get out my house. Get out my house. Get out my house. I ain't having you. Let's go touch again. I'm not coming out the house. He ain't gonna hurt. I don't have to leave my house.
Man, come out.
I don't have to.
All right, man, you got to come out.
Get them out my house.
White woman room.
Out my house.
Not going nowhere. Man.
Get out my house.
Move out the way. Move out the way. Move out the way. Move out the way.
And I wish I knew what they were muting on this video, because there's several points throughout the video where they mute the audio, and I really wish I knew what the fuck was being muted. Little Elmo on the wall over here.
Stand back.
What do you have?
Out. Listen. All right, man, you got to come out.
Get them out my house.
White woman room.
Get them out my house.
Listen. All right, man, you got to come out.
Get them out my house.
White woman room.
See, between the muting shit out and whatever, this dude in the background's yelling about white women something, and then using the N-word. So it's kind of hard to fully piece together, like, what the hell is this guy's rambling about, and then with her being the screaming lady or whatever. It's not very easy to follow along with all the...
Get out my house.
Not going nowhere. Ma'am.
So his microphone there...
Get out my house. I will put it on my head.
All right.
The microphone here says NYPD. So that's kind of interesting. So usually the Motorola radios, they'll say like Motorola across the front or whatever. This almost looks like it's factory like this. So it could be that, because they buy so many damn products from Motorola, that Motorola has, made more customized microphones for them. And, have put the little NYPD label inside of it, or it could be something that they made up on their own and have put it in there. But I thought that was kind of cool and unique looking,
And you got to come out.
and awesome as well. Thought it was awesome that an officer is actually using a freaking lapel mic in New York.
White woman room.
Get out my house.
Not going nowhere. Ma'am.
Get out my house. I will put it on my head.
Move out the way. You say that.
Oh.
Stand back. All right.
Eddie, move. Oh. Ah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
So this dude, he even looks fucking deranged. Like, you can tell he's he's a different breed. This dude comes back with that knife, and he comes charging at him. Unfortunately, the officer wasn't very accurate in his shots with center mass. And instead his rounds went into his groin area.
In the coming weeks and months.
All right, so that was chaotic. And like I said, that seems to be like more of a civil kind of issue, really. I think that could have been handled a lot differently. But nonetheless, dude, Eddie, whatever his damn name is, he's a problem. It's not his first rodeo, so to speak. He's been involved multiple times with the police, arrested multiple times, and he's just a general shithead. Not much else to say about this video. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense, thank you for watching.